Here with Will Currie, who came tonight to make a statement. Statement made, in my opinion. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I knew coming into the fight, I wanted to get a big finish. Wanted to show the Cage Warriors audience and everyone that I'm a real fighter, a real contender, someone in the division. And I just want to go to the UFC. So I wanted to put on a performance which I believed was worthy of the UFC. He was on the Contender Series, that guy. If that was a Contender Series fight, arguably I'd be going to the UFC now. So he knocked out James Webb. He's lost the fight to Stewart, but he went the distance. So I think finishing him shows my standard, the level I'm at. And it was a good performance to just be able to show everyone my level.
And speaking of the Contender Series, is that something that appeals to you, or do you feel you deserve to just walk right through the front door?
I think, in an ideal world, I'd love to just go into the front door, but also as well, I understand that, life's not always ideal. And if I got offered a Contender Series, that's still a great opportunity and something I would take with both hands. But if you were asking me, do I deserve to go to the UFC? I think, we look at certain people's runs in Cage Warriors. I truly believe I had one of the hardest runs in Cage Warriors history. If you look at the lineup, the fights I've had, I think I've gone through a killer's row. I mean, I've fought Duncan, Dario, Stanton. It goes on and on and on. I've fought a lot of people, and I've never been finished. Okay, arguably with the first time, but I've never been finished. And I've always shown up to fight, and you have to kill me to beat me. And I think I'm UFC caliber in that sense. And I'm only young. I'm only 25, just turned. So yeah, I've still got a long career ahead of me, and I would love to go to the UFC, where I believe if I get into the UFC, I think I'll just level up again, even more, just being a UFC fighter. But ultimately, it is what the powers be that give us, the fighters, the opportunity, and we as the fighters have to take whatever opportunity we're given. So I just take whatever fight's next.
Well, I definitely agree with that. And I feel like not many 25-year-olds have been battle tested like you have, like you just said. So do you feel like in the hindsight, in hindsight, I know it's not going quite as fast as you wanted to, but at the same time, you look back and, be grateful for it, because once you get to the UFC, it's one thing to get to the UFC, but to actually stay in the UFC and make a big career out of it.
This is true. And the Cage Warriors has given me the experience where when I do go to the UFC, I truly believe it's not going to be like it is for a lot of other fighters. I've been in Cage Warriors fighting certain individuals like Christian Leroy Duncan, who is in the UFC doing well. And I've always given a good fight. So the way I look at it, Cage Warriors has given me my education when it comes to combat.
And my last question, I know I always ask you about him, but you speak so highly of him, and now his new fight, his next fight is announced. Hamzat Chimaev is going to be fighting Whitaker. What do you think of that fight?
I feel sorry for Bobby Knuckles. He's one of my favourite fighters, but terrible matchup. If Dricus is taking you down, this guy is an animal. I'm not going to make names. I've seen him in the gym. I think he's even better in the gym than he is under the lights. I think under the lights, anyone can win in a sense, because it's a fight, and some people come in with the mentality of, I'm just a fight. Where when sparring, people are a bit more. Hamzat, he spars sometimes like it's a fight, but I've seen that guy in the gym do things to light heavyweights, top 10, top 5 light heavyweights, and you're like, how is that happening? So, anything can happen. Robert Whitaker is an amazing fighter, amazing skills, well-rounded fighter, one of the best ever. But I've said it, and I've said it before, this guy is the best I've ever seen. And I don't think it will. Lonnie Kavanagh is distracted. I think personally, Hamzat's the best fighter I've ever seen. So I always favour him to win. But a fight is a fight. We've seen him nearly beaten before. He's not a god. He can be beaten. But as talent for talent, skill for skill, Hamzat's the best I've ever seen.
Well, congrats again, and cannot wait to see what's next. I think I know what's next, but we'll see.
Thank you, Edith.